to Jorgensen Center for the Performing Arts. The management wishes to remind you that there is no smoking allowed throughout the building. The taking of pictures and the use of recording devices during the performance is strictly prohibited. Please note that in case of emergency or fire, exits are clearly marked and are located throughout the auditorium. To avoid disturbing other patrons, please turn off or mute your pagers and cellular phones. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Earl MacDonald and the Creative Opportunity Workshop.
Thanks so much. It's great to see so many friends and colleagues here, and I appreciate you coming out to celebrate our CD release. So that, of course, I'm sure many of you recognize that piece. Do you recognize it? What was it? Blackbird by John Lennon and Paul McCartney. I think it was John Lennon's birthday just recently. So we're going to continue now with an original composition, and this one has an interesting title called Bottom Feeders. And the story behind this one, it was actually inspired by the crazy television show The Swan. Has anyone ever seen The Swan? This is good, actually. We have an educated audience that doesn't watch television. I like it. Okay, well, let me tell you about The Swan. I have not seen it, actually, but I saw a commercial for it. And here's the premise. They take someone with low self-esteem, who perceives themselves as being an ugly duckling, and they turn them into a swan. So it's a makeover show, but it's a radical, extreme makeover show, where they don't just give them a haircut and a new outfit, you know. They do plastic surgery, liposuction, they do bone restructuring, and all kinds of crazy things in order to turn them into this beautiful creature, right? So in the compositional process, I thought I would, rather than starting off with a bad composition and trying to make it better, I would start out with a jazz classic, and then I would, you know, add some highlights and trim their eyebrows or something like that, trying to do something different. So I'm not going to tell you what that jazz classic is. I'm going to play the tune, and we're going to see if one of you can identify what it is, and then I'm going to put the party in CD release party, and I'm going to give a free CD to the person that can tell me the name of that tune. Okay, so listen carefully. Bottom Feeders. Okay, so who's got it? All blues. It goes to Louis Hanslick, Associate Department Head of the Department of Music. All right, all those years of training have paid off. So, Louis, why don't you come on up and get your CD, or someone can hand it to him. Here we go. You ready? I'll throw it to you. I guess Louis is technically my boss now, so I don't know if that's even allowed, right? All these ethics issues here at UConn, code of conduct. Okay, so we're going to continue now with the title track for the CD. We call it Mirror of the Mind. cool projections behind us? Yeah. So they were done by a colleague of mine, Deborah Dancy, from the art department, and we've done several collaborations together. And I think that was the second one that we did. That was called Above the Surface of the Water. And you can imagine what a challenge it was when I received these videos and was asked to put music to them to try and capture just the right mood for that kind of piece. So that was kind of influenced by Aaron Copland's music, and I just love those images and working along with them. This next piece we don't have a video to go with, and in a way I wish I had copied the score so that I could put the score up there for you to see. This piece is completely notated with cartoon drawings, and it's very different. A few years ago I studied with Dave Douglas, the jazz trumpeter and composer, and he sort of hipped me to the idea of writing graphic scores, or aleatoric composition, as he calls it. And so we use, this microphone is falling down. And it uses no regular notation, no regular notes. When I first started putting this band together, the concept was that it was going to be really my avant-garde experimentation band. And this was one of the first pieces that I wrote for the group. And when we did our first concert, I overheard a conversation in the lobby after the show by a man that said, his definition of music and my definition of music are something very different. So at that point, I thought, he's got a point. I really should probably incorporate some tonal music into this concert. But quite a setup for this piece. Now you're expecting to, you're going to hell and back, right? But anyway, this song is entitled "Looking Forward, Looking Back," and what it's about a life-changing decision that is being made, but you're not making it. Someone's been making it for you. So one scenario might be a marriage proposal where some guy proposes to his future spouse, and she says, "Okay, I'll get back to you on that one." Or maybe it's a job interview or something, where you have no control, but it'll absolutely change your life. So here's "Looking Forward, Looking Back." So it's fun to visit some of those crazy tunes every once in a while. But so now we're going to go in completely the other direction. And I'm sure that we have some Nat Cole fans here, right? So we're going to do a Nat Cole medley, which starts out with Nature Boy and then goes into one of my favorites, Calypso Blues. a great band, isn't it? So let's hear it for Christopher Hoffman on cello. Chris Hoffman comes from Brooklyn, New York. And it's funny, you know, I had never met him until I met him for the first time in the recording studio, which was a little bit nerve-wracking for me, but he came very highly recommended and did a great job on this album, and it's been a pleasure playing with him. One of my longtime collaborators over here on alto and tenor and soprano saxophone. Let's hear it for Chris Allen from West Hartford. Chris just landed his first full-time teaching position at Williams College in Massachusetts. And on the percussion, and I say percussion because it's not just a drum set. He's a marvelous musician, comes from Brazil. He's worked with all kinds of incredible jazz musicians, including Danilo Perez and John Patitucci, and you know, he's really making a name for himself now in New York City. But I'm very pleased to have him in my band. Let's hear it for Rogério Baccato. So we're going to close out this set with our theme song. I thought every band needs a theme song. You know, Miles Davis had a theme song, Art Blakey had a theme song, EarlMacDonald needs a theme song, right? So yeah, there you go. So I call this one the Bidwell Cronies. And yes, you're right, it is named after the Bidwell Tavern. So, you know, early on in my marriage, before we had children, my wife and I, we used to frequent the Bidwell Tavern. We still love going to the Bidwell for wings, you know, but we went there more frequently when we didn't have kids. And one of our favorite activities was people watching and making a game of, you know, looking across the room and saying, what do you think that guy does for a living, you know? And if you've ever been there, and it sounds like many of you have from the Chuckles, you know what I'm talking about. It's a wide variety and crazy cast of characters that you'll see. So on one such evening, the evening that I wrote this piece, we went there, and I remember seeing, you know, there were pipers, bagpipers in kilts. There were also legitimate cross-dressers. You know, a little hard to tell the difference between a pipers and them, but you know, but there is a difference. And of course, professors, you know, with their patches on their elbows, and you've got bikers, and there's even a guy with a Dr. Seuss hat adorned with buttons. You know, so crazy, crazy mix. And that inspired this tune, the Bidwell Cronies, our theme song. So after this, we're going to take a very brief intermission. CDs will be for sale in the lobby, and then we're going to come back. So it's going to be 15 minutes at the most, and then we'll come back with our second set. So thank you very much. See you up here.
Yeah, no matter what. I would really love when I can tell every account. Zero. Run out there and start low, mid, high. Just feels like being a digital still, it just feels like some of the EQ is really that rapid, really do what you need. But yeah, I mean, it just feels like the system is weird. It's kind of weird. Yeah, that sounds fun. So I was literally weird. Piano. So I think like about yeah, you can't do anything about it. Like your noise floor is what it is. You don't really want to show it's fine. You have to provide stuff to see. Yeah, I mean, I'm hitting like maybe minus 24, minus 17. Some big hits. I should be hitting like 0 or plus 4 on big hits. I think I choose to play with it. I get a better feel for it. Yeah, tomorrow should be. So I mean, tonight we'll ditch the piano, pack up my some stand, probably just put the full wedge right across the front. Yeah. See what I know tomorrow. If anything left that, I'd give it an extra 5. But yeah, I'm sure they got all cool things across the front. Nice job. How's that guy retired? I don't know, I'm supposed to pay. Let's see what's in the subs today. A little bit of cello. I know we're really small, so it's like, build it out a little bit. I've been really hurting me in grass. Got 57 minutes. Whatever. Yeah, but I felt really clear. Yeah, whatever we're gonna do, we'll run circuits with them on stage. Make notations. Actually, yeah, I'll make you a different sheet tomorrow. So you can just have this other show. Then, like, the kitchen in my house. All right. I got that. Texted me. Probably have it. Yeah, I'll get the information. So, yeah, I'll tell them. Yeah, man. 5 more minutes. I see we got 5 minutes left.
How are you?
No, I'd say you can hop on. I'm just gonna. Yeah, I don't like animals. Yeah, it's like, it's got headsets, but they're really cheesy and they don't sound barely hear 'em. Is that? Oh, no. We'll do that with like 30 seconds left.
Right. They're like mixing classes.
So welcome back to our second set. That was 1,000 Memories. And as you saw, sometimes our video ends before the music does, because the video was designed to go with the exact length of the studio track that we did. But of course, when we're playing live, sometimes you get inspired to take another chorus, and so you keep going, and then the video runs out. So we're going to continue now with a Johnny Mandel piece. This is called I Never Told You. going to do one of our crazy improvisations for you again. This one's entitled Quaternary Triangulation. Sounds very academic, doesn't it? I don't know if you're having fun, but we're sure having fun. So I don't know if you could figure out the game in that piece. Basically, we had 3 trios going on, and each person took a turn leading. We went around the circle, like it was just clockwise, at least for us. So for the first piece, it was started by the cellist and accompanied by myself and Chris. And I started the next one, accompanied by the next 2 guys, while the other member is laying out. So anyway, that gives you an idea of some of the fun things that we do in our spare time, right? Okay, we're going to continue with a tune called Disillusionment. disillusionment came out of a blog challenge that I accepted, where I decided to write a blues a day for 30 days and post them on my blog. And you know, by about day 6, you start to get to know your compositional tendencies pretty quickly, you know, and you're thinking, man, I don't know if I can do this. And I just did that idea yesterday. What else am I going to do? So I started making lists of different parameters and ways that I could approach writing a blues. So before I started writing anything, I said, okay, so it's going to be a minor tune. It's going to be in the key of E minor. It's going to be in a weird time signature, so it's going to be in 7. And it'll be harmonic minor, let's see. It's going to have an ostinato bass groove and kind of a Middle Eastern flavor. And so that's what I ended up with. Our next tune is entitled Miles Apart, and this is a song that I wrote in tribute to my family, my parents and my sister who live on the west coast of Canada. So obviously I live here and they're way out there, and at times it's, you know, it's a drag that my kids can't hang out with their grandparents more often, you know. So on a rainy day I wrote this thinking of them and entitled it Miles Apart. jazz concert if we didn't call an audible, right? So we're going to change something from the program, and we're going to end it out with a piece called It Was Whispered. And the last tune, we thought it seemed a little too introspective, so we want to do something that's fun for the CD release party here. And this is our last tune, It Was Whispered. This one is influenced a little bit by Ornette Coleman. And again, it has the visual images created by my colleague from the art department, Deborah Dancy. She's in Italy right now, poor Deborah, right? So she can't join us. But this was an interesting one to write music to. You'll see from the imagery, it was kind of confusing, you know, seeing all these. She's sitting down and she's kind of playing with twigs, and they seem like they're covering her whole body. It's kind of eerie in some ways, and I wanted to capture that kind of eerie, spooky effect. And I thought, and it also seemed confusing and cluttered and busy, and so Ornette Coleman came to mind in a sense. So I hope you enjoy this one. This is our final tune of the night, and then we're gonna, we have some cake back there. My wife picked up a cake for us, and I want to thank my wife, Jana, because, you know, she picked, it's a true partnership. You know, I couldn't take the kids to their piano lessons today, so she did that, and she picked up a cake, and she's helping me, and I'm dropping the ball all over the place, and so she's right there with me, and I love her and appreciate her, so thank you, Jana. And we'll see you at the party, and I'll be back there to sign some CDs if you'd like to get that done too. And I think they're going to keep the bar open for us too. So, all right. Thanks, good night. Have some cake. We'll see you in a minute.